Can't say that I'm a fever dream. Night sweat.
This is episode 35 of me sitting down once a week to talk about life and business, help you make more money, have a lot more fun and fulfillment while you do it. Welcome back to Monday Diaries. Back home because my iPhone has a faulty charging port, and when we plug the mic in, it's so hit or miss that I didn't want to film for 10 minutes and realize I had no audio. So now I'm filming on the trusty old Blackmagic. But as always, this is going to be a raw one take video. I'm going to sit down and yap for usually less than 10 minutes. So if you've got things to do, dishes to wash, cars to drive, feel free to do that and just listen in and then check in at the end. The first thing on my mind is the Founder Sports Club, and by the time this video goes live, the sports club will also be live, so we hit the 100-person waitlist pretty quickly, and then now it's available to the public, so there may or may not be an option to try it for free for 30 days, and then it's less than a coffee a month after that. So really worth checking out if you are building something online and you like sports and you want to connect with other people in your city who feel the same way. We're launching internationally, so there's going to be cities all over the world, and as soon as there's enough people in those cities to start matching, we will do so. So first matches go out on September 1st if you are a part of it and you're watching this. Now, a speed update on the business. Art of Mondays is on the screen right now. We've had 222 applications since we started. That's up about 15 from last week. Of those, we've accepted 36 members into the membership. I keep track of it up here next to my vision board. And our next intake is it's about a week from now. So you'll see more soon. The average member is 26, 27 years old, and they're all lifestyle founders. So as a company, we've done about 130K in revenue so far since we launched this year. Personal brand growth stats, the YouTube channel is still moving. It's at 6,371 subs, which is up about 383. Instagram and TikTok, I actually forgot to record, to be honest, but Instagram probably lost a few hundred, and TikTok would be up a few hundred, I imagine, because some of the recent videos were doing well. But numbers on screen. Art of Monday's Instagram is at 4,378, which is up 139 from last week. So, honest update from me. We are still hiring for a YouTube editor and an intern. When I say hiring, we're sort of seeding applicants and getting sample projects done. We've had some really standout ones so far, to be honest, and it may not still be available by the time you watch this video, but worth throwing your hat in the ring if you just want to get involved in a young, innovative startup that's doing things a little bit differently. So just reach out, email on screen. We also hired a performance marketer, Mo. So he was a connection of Evan's, my co-founder, and just super aligned with what we're building. He actually applied for Art of Mondays, got accepted in, and then we're like, hold on a second, really like your skill set. Let's see if there's some sort of partnership opportunity here. So he came on board as part of the team, and he's helping us launch the Founder Sports Club ads, which have literally gone live yesterday or today. I don't know what by the time this video is out, but really excited to scale that up, because I think the sports club can be a hugely scalable thing if we can liquidate the customer acquisition cost, and it'll also feed Art of Mondays, which is our main community as well. If you're not familiar with what I'm building, go back and watch previous videos or click the Art of Mondays link below. That stuff is all really exciting, and the coolest part I think about building out the team is that they've all come from pretty much either content we put out online or like our network, and they're all so aligned with Art of Mondays that they're willing to work on usually like performance basis. So I don't have any plans to hire employees or anything of that nature. I think having people contract in for specific things and tying a lot of their compensation to growth and outcomes is like the best thing ever, and that's what we're doing when we pay ourselves, right now really minimally, but as the company grows, we're going to pay ourselves significantly more, and that's kind of our plan. So yeah, feeling a lot of momentum with Art of Mondays, and had a bunch of feedback on even the Instagram account, which a few months ago was just a couple of pretty pictures talking about the houses that we wanted to run, and now it's like a bit more fleshed out. There's videos and behind the scenes of when we catch up with founders. There's just like more atmosphere and brand and feeling to it, and it makes a huge difference. It's like a huge point of leverage for people coming in and building trust and just understanding what we do. So for those of you out here who maybe aren't paying enough attention to your business, social media accounts, it matters so much more than you think, even to the point where, when I first moved to Perth, on North Fremantle, I wanted to join a new gym. I knew I wanted to do CrossFit, and there's a few gyms in the area, and the one I picked was literally the one that just had a video on Instagram of everyone high-fiving after a workout, because it just felt more like a family. I was like, I want to be part of that, and that's why I went there, and I've been there for years ever since. I've spent thousands of dollars at that gym, all because of one video on Instagram, which is a wild thought. So yeah, don't neglect that, because it's more powerful than you think. I'm also still writing every day for an hour in the morning, and I'm exploring ways to grow my newsletter. And one of those is by giving away something like some sort of PDF that actually gives people a reason to join, other than just to see what I'm writing about. And one of the ideas I had is, I've spent several months of my life living with high performers, both in a physical, mental, and spiritual sense, but also high performers in business, young founders who have been very successful. And I've learned a lot of things throughout that time, a lot of which I share on this YouTube channel, but also just like one-liners or really core concepts that just really stand out and make me think differently about how I'm approaching life and leverage and things like that. And I'm thinking about distilling, or I am distilling that down into either a PDF or like a 5 or 7 day email sequence that I'll send out. So if that's of interest to you or anyone watching, you can subscribe to the Jai Journal, which is my newsletter, and I promise to send that out when it's ready. And then I'm going to use that in the future to get more and more people to actually take action and join, because there's so much good stuff that goes through that channel that we have about 1,600 subs now, but would love that to just grow and grow. So yeah, moving on. Big win for this week is probably the level 10 meeting that Evan and I do. For those who don't know, I have a co-founder in the biz, and we catch up once a week. It's like the only regularly scheduled meeting I have in my calendar, and I love that, by the way. And on that meeting, it's usually an hour and a half, and we just have such a solid framework for touching base with each other and addressing issues in the business and moving forwards with speed. And I kind of wanted to share how we did that for anyone else that is working with a partner or a co-founder or just team members, because it's really, really impactful. So it's like a spreadsheet, Google Sheets, and there's several tabs across the bottom. The first one has our values on there that we reflect on every week. The second one is sort of like a life update from each of us, because we live separately. I live here. I'm in Perth right now. He's in Japan with his partner traveling. So a life update and a vulnerable thought. And that vulnerable thought is actually probably the really key part there, like something that, maybe you've been feeling but haven't addressed or haven't brought up because it feels a bit awkward. So that's really cool. The next tab is giving feedback to each other. We do that bi-weekly, not every single week, but it's an open space for that. Then we have our roles in the business, and we reflect on that regularly to see if there's changes that need to be made and if we're fulfilling our duties. Then we have a scorecard, which is basically like everything in our business that we want to track. So, traffic to our website, our social growth, our newsletter, open rates and click-throughs, and our member activity in the school group, and on attendance on calls, and just like, also of course finances, what the bank balance is looking like, and all of those other things we reflect on every single week. And it just gives us ultimate clarity on the business, and we miss very little when we do that. So full credit to Evan for building this out. I just get to plug in and use it, but it's very worthwhile. Then we have our 90-day rocks, and this is basically like big ticket items that we want to achieve this quarter. And there's usually 6 to 8 of them, which sounds like a lot, but things like, it might be a new product launch, it might be a new channel that we're advertising on, it might be building something internally, some sort of customer focused experience tool, stuff like that. And if you get that right, you really not only have clarity on what you're doing at all points, you can really move with momentum. I think the win ultimately for this week or this few months is that we really nailed our rocks, and we just had so much clarity and momentum coming out of it. We got 1 month left. I think September is the final month of the quarter, and just the business has progressed so much in that time because we just focused on the right things. And one of those is the Founder Sports Club, and many more, but I'll dive into that in a future video. Next tab on the sheet is it used to be called an issues list. Now we call it a momentum list, but it's basically like, what are the bottlenecks? What are the main things that need to be addressed? Anything that's come up in the week that we need to make a decision on and keep moving forwards. And that's usually where we spend most of the time. That's like 45 minutes, an hour sometimes, working through that and having action steps. And then finally, a gratitude just to wrap up. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We do that every week, and it keeps us on track and aligned. And it means that during the week, I don't really give a fuck what he's working on. I know he's executing. I know it's working towards the right thing. He's not just going in circles. And I don't care if he works an hour or 16 hours, which both happen sometimes. So yeah, wanted to share that. Now for a big idea, probably the title of this video. In one of our recent calls with our group, Victor brought up a thing called a Misogi, and I've heard of it before. It's like an ancient Japanese ritual, particularly with samurais, practiced by samurais. And once a year, you basically undertake a challenge that is so difficult that it leaves a lasting impact on your life. So a lot of people see this as physical challenges. Maybe it's running an ultra marathon or some sort of crazy mountain hike, over several days. So I'm trying to think of a Misogi that I could do. Misogi, I don't know which one it is, that I could do this year that can really define my year, and then plan that in advance. And we're going back to Cape Town in Feb, sort of next year, so within the next 6 months. And I was thinking maybe the 13 peaks. Basically, you just summit like every single peak across Table Mountain, and that could be a big one. It's like 100 kilometers, so that would be a pretty gnarly one. But I'd also love to hear what you guys think, like if there's anything that comes to mind for you across the world, or just even locally, some sort of challenge that would be really defining in your life, like a personal challenge to take on. I really encourage you guys to think about the same thing, because not only is it something to have in your calendar and work towards, it's just going to force you into healthier habits, because you know it's there, you have your eyes set on it. So yeah, and doing hard things makes everything else seem easier as well. Cool. I usually add something to ponder each week, and I, to be honest, forgot to put something in there, and I can't think of anything off the top of my head, so I'm going to keep moving. But final couple of things to wrap up is, if you want to get involved in the Founder Sports Club, by the time you're watching this video, it will be live. It's less than a coffee a month to be a part of it. We may still have a free trial. I'm not sure on that, but definitely worth checking out. It's going to be a really big initiative one day with tens of thousands of people, so you can be a real early mover in that process. I also write a weekly email called the Jar Journal. We spoke about that already. My socials are Mondays as well. They're all linked below if you want to connect further. And finally, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, as well as the other videos I do on my channel, which are a bit more interactive and engaging. Yeah, thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.